ディレイマジック、トゥルーです。さようならだ、ガゼフ・ストロノフ。
Welcome to WatchMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the anime deaths that we're still mad about. Number 20, Shion. That time I got reincarnated as a slime. When Falmouth's forces mounted an attack on Tempest, there were bound to be a few casualties. Unfortunately, one of them happened to be Rimaru's #1 secretary, Shion. Given her larger role in the series, her haphazard death feels incredibly anticlimactic. Especially since fans only got to mourn her for a handful of episodes. Shion's corpse was barely cold before Rimaru channeled the power of a demon lord to bring her back. Shock value aside, we have to admit we just couldn't forgive Falmouth after killing off Best Girl, whether she came back or not. You just don't do that to a fan favorite. Number 19, Kana Kamishima, Parasite the Maxim. Introduced as a bully who develops a crush on the main character, this teenager was a far more interesting potential love interest than Satomi. Sadly, Kana's life is abruptly cut short and with little closure. Possessing the ability to send out signals to other parasites, Kana mistook this skill for a personal link to Shinichi, despite the protagonist's repeated attempts to convince the girl to stop using it. This misunderstanding directly causes the character's demise, as Kana's gift attracts the wrong parasite. Her death has a huge impact on Shinichi, but Parasite never really gives any explanation as to why Kana owned this ability. Number 18, Piccolo, Dragon Ball Super. There's no way to sugarcoat it, this death is lame. It's bad enough Super kills off Piccolo, but they just couldn't think of an original way to do it. He dies shielding Gohan from a lethal blast, just like he did back in Z. There's not even a point to it. This scene doesn't happen in the movie version of the events, and Piccolo would later be resurrected like nothing happened anyway.
Piccolo, why?
His death holds absolutely no weight, and instead comes across as an eye-rolling attempt to cash in on Z's iconic moments. If Super really wanted to tug at the heartstrings, they could have at least brought something new to the table. Number 17, 9 Alpha, Darling in the Franxx. A cross-promotion between A1 Pictures and Trigger, Darling in the Franxx concluded on a somewhat controversial final arc, and Alpha's death was only one of many missteps. Introduced as the smug leader of the Nines, Alpha accepted every opportunity to mock 02 and Squad 13, although the Parasite's most villainous acts were largely a result of manipulation. After realizing that Papa had betrayed them, Alpha joins Squad 13 in fighting off the alien menace, before quickly and pointlessly sacrificing himself to save Hero. Besides coming across as rushed, Alpha's character arc felt like Darling in the Franxx was just ticking boxes off a checklist. Number 16, Ponzu, Hunter x Hunter. If you look up missed potential in the dictionary, you'll see a picture of Ponzu. She played a memorable role in the Hunter exams, then randomly vanished for half the series. The Huntress finally reappeared during the Chimera Ant arc, only to promptly die an episode later. For what it's worth, Ponzu spends her final moments sending invaluable info about the Chimera Ants to the outside world. That's nice in a vacuum, but for a character of her caliber, it still feels like a pretty pitiful last act. If this is what Hunter x Hunter was gonna do with Ponzu, they shouldn't have bothered bringing her back at all. Number 15, Ulquiorra Cypher, Bleach. Among the most powerful Arrancar in Aizen's army, Ulquiorra handed Ichigo a sound beating early on in the anime's run. More than 100 episodes later, Bleach finally staged the highly anticipated rematch between the two, but the conclusion was anticlimactic, at least for Ichigo himself. Initially, Ulquiorra demolishes Ichigo, but the human's inner hollow takes charge and returns the favor, leaving the fourth Espada without a couple of limbs and knocking on heaven's door. Ulquiorra manages to revert Ichigo back to normal, but the villain was already defeated by this point, so the two never truly got to have a fair fight they both wanted. Number 14, Prince Zanak, Overlord. Ainz Ulgon isn't one for mercy. In layman's terms, that means Prince Zanak of the Riesti's kingdom had to die. But surely Overlord could have given him a better send-off than this. After Zanak's attempts at surrendering fall on deaf ears, his own subjects murder him and use his severed head as leverage. It's brutal, unbecoming, and completely unwarranted. Even worse, their plan doesn't even work. As it turns out, all Zanak's head is worth is a slow, agonizing death in the torture chamber. So much for leniency. In the end, this gambit robbed Zanak of a dignified goodbye, and Overlord of a great character. Number 13, Miki Makimura, Devilman Crybaby. In a world overrun by devils, murder, and paranoia, Akira only has one thing keeping him going. Actually, it's one person, Miki Makimura. She never loses faith in the good of mankind, and as a reward, a belligerent mob tracks her down and executes her with no remorse. The scene is almost too horrifying to look at. Then, to rub salt in the wound, her killers have the gall to parade her body parts around like some kind of twisted blood sport. Akira's trust in humans dies with Miki, and we can't blame him. Devilman or not, this mob is what really turned him into a devil. Number 12, Pip, Hellsing Ultimate. When star-crossed lovers Pip and Ceres finally lock lips, it should be grounds for celebration. The issue? Pip has a giant gaping scythe wound in his back, courtesy of the bloodthirsty maniac Zorin. As a result, Pip and Ceres' first kiss is also their last. In the show's defense, having Pip become part of Ceres' soul is the closest thing to a happily ever after as you could expect from Hellsing. But that's still a meager consolation prize compared to what this couple could have been. At the very least, Ceres drinks Pip's blood and gets enough strength to royally curb stomp Zorin in retaliation. It basically doubles as Pip's funeral. Number 11, Nicholas D. Wolfwood, Trigun. No good deed goes unpunished, especially in Trigun.
There are extenuating circumstances you don't understand.
For starters, the Gung Ho Guns clan follows one very simple philosophy: Violence is the quickest way to get results. And yet, after meeting Vash, Wolfwood isn't so sure anymore. So, when he gets into an altercation with his former boss, he does the unthinkable. Wolfwood gives mercy. Unfortunately, his possessed overlord isn't as friendly. After being shot, Wolfwood is left practically crawling to a church to say his final words. It's not fair in the slightest, but that's the cost of mercy in a kill or be killed world. It's just a shame Wolfwood had to die to prove it.
I did not want to die this way!
Number 10. Jotaro Kujo. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Stone Ocean. There's no medal for Father of the Year in JoJo's, and even if there were, Jotaro wouldn't be around to get it. He does get points for helping his daughter Jolene stop the Mad Pucci, but his execution leaves a lot to be desired. During his stand's time stop, Jotaro has a choice: save his child or finish off Pucci. His parental instincts kick in, and he takes the lethal blow for his daughter. Keep in mind, Pucci can reset the universe, taking out Jolene and rendering Jotaro's sacrifice moot. This death is certainly worth a few gasps, but since reality gets rebooted anyway, it's more rage-inducing than anything else. Number 9. Ai Hoshino, Oshinoko. This might be the first time that killing them with kindness ends up actually killing somebody.
社長たちかな?
You heard that right. Ai's only crime was being too nice. She devoted everything to her idol career, her fans, and most notably, her newborn twins. And it still wasn't enough. One day, Ai simply opened the front door and came face to face with her bloodthirsty stalker.
ドーム公演おめでとう。双子の子供は元気。
Afterwards, even when she was bleeding out in front of her infant twins, Ai still has it in her heart to choose kindness. As such, her final words to her children are downright soul-crushing. Ai would have made a great mother, and taking that away from her is a truly unforgivable act. Number 8. Neji, Naruto Shippuden. Naruto's Chunin exams fight against Neji is one of the show's defining moments. While the marginalized protagonist refused to be constrained by social status or fate, Neji was a prodigy who believed destiny could not be altered. Although the ninja's ideology weakens thanks to Naruto's infectious attitude. Largely ignored throughout the majority of Shippuden, Neji was the most significant casualty of the 4th Shinobi World War, and Kishimoto confirmed this death was done to help strengthen Hinata and Naruto's relationship.
Naruto. Hinata-sama wa omae no tame nara shinu.
One could say it was his destiny to be used as a stepping stone by other characters.
お前が俺の横にいてくれたおかげだ。そしてネジ、ありがとうだってばよ。
Number 7. Lancer, Fate Zero. There is no honor in war, but that doesn't mean Kiritsugu's cowardly strategy shouldn't be scrutinized.
お前がここに現れるとはな、セイバー。
Summoned as Kenneth's servant in the Holy Grail War, Lancer is a noble knight who would never even contemplate using underhanded tactics to win a battle. Spread across multiple episodes, Saber and Lancer engage in various duels throughout Fate Zero, but fans were deprived of a decisive match. While the warriors prepared for their final fight, Kiritsugu captures Kenneth's fiancée and forces Lancer to take his own life in exchange for the woman's life. Lancer goes out cursing everyone involved, and the servant's anger is completely justified. Number 6. Tenza Yamada Asaimon, Hell's Paradise. If you turned on Hell's Paradise expecting Tenza to be a main character, you'd be very, very wrong. Although, we can't blame you for thinking so. Tenza is introduced as an enthusiastic warrior determined to rise above his poor upbringing. There's even some hints of romance between him and Nurugai.
戦闘は徹底的に避ける。
慎重なところも夫向きだ。
But then, almost as soon as he's properly joined the team, Tenza just dies. It's supposed to be a heroic self-sacrifice, but it comes so abruptly, the whole thing feels pointless and manipulative instead.
しぶとかった。
Then they replace Tenza with his mentor, who's just a less charming version of a character we already loved. Remind us why they killed off Tenza again?
死をとした覚悟無駄にできるか。
Number 5. Kid, Zorthi, Irak, Marken, Jorgen, and Balimbo. Gurren Lagann. Gainax's anime never shied away from axing off characters, but was there really any need to kill 6 characters in the same episode?
どこでも行くぞ。どこにだって行くぞ。てか。
Gearing up for the final conflict against the anti-spirals, Team Daiguren knew casualties had to be expected.
俺どこまで行けた。
In order to stress the finality of the situation, Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann's minor characters began dropping off like flies, which would have been fine if the deaths were spread out.
ユレンダンの意地見せてやるぜ。
キッド、アイラック。
Due to these 6 falling during the opening space battle against the anti-spirals, the last 3 episodes had to make do with a fairly thin cast. Number 4. Laughter Franklin. Mobile Suit Gundam Iron-Blooded Orphans. Death is always a mecha battle away in Sunrise anime.
あ、忘れてた。
While most are hard to sit through but effective, Laughter's passing felt manipulative and trivial. A fantastic pilot with an optimistic nature and an endearing personality, Laughter shows signs of maturity throughout the series, and this character development seems set to continue. Then, out of nowhere, Laughter is randomly shot while shopping, wasting any hope tied to the character.
すみません、これください。はい、ちょっと待ってくださいね。
To add insult to injury, the villain behind the cheap hit barely lasts another episode, making Laughter's death practically pointless. Number 3. Sasha. Attack on Titan. When you're in the Scouts, death is a common work hazard. Mostly they go out with glory battling Titans. Sasha, on the other hand, Sasha dies from a stray bullet. No warning, no fanfare. The real kicker is that she isn't even killed in combat. After the assault on Marley, Sasha's retreating in the airship when Gabby rolls out of hiding and shoots her point blank. It's an ungracious, almost disrespectful way to kill off a character.
サシャ、島まで耐えろ。
Especially one as beloved as Sasha. If she had to die, Attack on Titan could have at least let her go out fighting. Or with some more inspiring last words, anything would have been better than this.
サシャが死んだ。
Number 2. Tatsumi. Akame ga Kill. Despite what might have been implied in the title, Akame is not the main protagonist for 99% of this show. After catching up to the manga, Akame ga Kill decided to do its own thing for the last handful of episodes, and things quickly spiraled out of control.
必ず生きて帰る。
Just one of many characters to die in quick succession, Tatsumi, the anime's real protagonist, defeats the enemy's strongest Tegu, but dies moments later trying to protect some civilians. With an episode to go and various villains left to slay, Tatsumi's premature death seemed like it was done purely for shock value. Do yourself a favor and read the manga.
約束しただろ。生きて戻ると言ったのに。辰巳。
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure to go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Nanami, Jujutsu Kaisen. Not even a grade 1 Jujutsu sorcerer is safe from the threat of a heart-wrenching death. That means you, Nanami. It's hard to say goodbye because he was at the very top of his game. Just a few episodes earlier, Nanami broke the whole internet by pummeling Haruta into oblivion.
仲間の数と配置は
It's not like the Shibuya incident arc needed any more casualties either. Yet, for some reason, Jujutsu Kaisen spent all that time making Nanami a fan favorite just so it would hurt more when Mahito killed him.
いたんですか
It's a cruel and unusual waste of a character, one that inspires more hair-pulling than tears. Hey, we'll always have Haruta's beatdown, right?
あとは頼みます
Did we miss any anger-inducing death scenes? Let us know in those comments below. Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.